Hey everyone, welcome to my very first video for my fledgling YouTube channel. You know, one thing that I started doing back in 2011 was that I started interviewing trop rock musicians. And trop rock is a music genre, tropical rock, sort of kind of like Jimmy Buffett style music, singer-songwriters that really span from coast to coast, but a lot of them are concentrated around the Gulf of Mexico. And anyway, I started writing about all of that back in 2011, started doing interviews, and I thought I'd start a channel just in case some of you might be interested in who those musicians are, what I wrote about them, little stories, little tales, some pictures. I'll tell you real fast why I started doing the interviews. I was able to get, I kind of talked my way into a little job writing a column for a beautiful magazine that unfortunately is no longer in print. It's called Gulfscapes. And I talked the owners into a column called Parrothead Perusals and Trop Rock Tales. And this is what this is the cover of the magazine that had my very first column in it. Here it is. You see it? You know what though, it's probably backwards. Oh well. And here is the first column. Parrothead Perusals and Trop Rock Tales. And yeah, oh well. Anyway, you kind of get the idea. Again, this is my first video, so bear with me. But I wanted to let you know the very first person, the very first artist that I interviewed was the great Brent Burns. We call him now the grandfather of trop rock. And Brent lives in Lower Alabama. He was in the Grapevine area where the Lone Star Parrothead Club was sponsoring something called Shark Stock back in early September of 2011, and I made arrangements to get an interview with him, and here we go. Now I'm over 90 interviews of different artists, but I'm going to read to you what I wrote. Now this is what I wrote later on about Brent. I don't think I actually, even if I still have the notes from my very first interview, but this was something that I wrote maybe in late 2013, something like that. So anyway, and I'll show you some pictures kind of along the way, but this was called LA Fun, and LA is Lower Alabama. So when my husband and I started out on our honeymoon after Mardi Gras last January, well, that's a whole nother story, but not for this interview, or not for this video. We planned our first night stop to be in Gulf Shores, Alabama. That's because it was a Monday, and we knew that we could head to Lulu's at Homeport, have a great meal, and hear one of our favorite trop rock artists, Brent Burns. We were in his backyard of LA, not Los Angeles, but Lower Alabama. So Brent migrated to LA from Oklahoma, Arizona, and Nashville, plus he did a stint for the military along the way. His dad taught him how to play the guitar when he was 14, and he started writing music back in the 70s. And in 1979, he wound up on the front page of the New York Times and was featured on the Mike Douglas Show with his humorous hit, Cheaper Crude or No More Food. And then after a few years of self-proclaimed writer's block, he decided to follow Mark Twain's advice and write about what he knew. So he was living at the beach by then and recorded his first album called Living the Life. And from there, his popularity exploded with the Parrothead crowd. Now he's one of the most well-known trop rock artists around. And Trop Rock Awards, well, Brent has earned just all kinds of trop rock accolades, dating back to 2008 when he won Entertainer of the Year. He won CD of the Year for Ragtops and Flip Flops, and he won the Wave Award for his charitable work. In 2010, he was named TRMA, that's Trop Rock Music Association, Songwriter of the Year, And he also got the CD and Song of the Year awards. 2011 brought Entertainer and Songwriter of the Year. And then last year, 2012, remember I wrote this in 13. Don't Come Knocking If the Tiki Bar is Hopping. Don't Come Knocking If the Tiki Hut's Rocking. There's a little difference there. But anyway, that won both Song of the Year and CD of the Year. So much of Brent's charm in a live performance is his humor and his keen sense of comedic timing. He's a favorite among seasonal snowbirds crowd at Lulu's, and he's always in demand for house concerts and Trop Rock festivals across the nation. So the next time you see Brent, give him a wink and ask for his Man Card, one of his great songs, and you'll have a friend for life. Now that's what I wrote about Brent. I'll show you a few little pictures. You know, I first heard about him in 2007. I'd never heard the term Trop Rock before, but I had some friends who had just moved to Lower Alabama, Orange Beach actually, which is right next to Gulf Shores, and they said, "Oh, you've got to get this." Well, actually, I believe I think they sent this. This was the first Brent Burns CD I ever had, Perpetual Vacation. And still, one of my very favorites is on here. Well, I thought it was. No, I guess it's not. Anyway, but Perpetual Vacation is a great song. This was a really fun CD. Cuban Sugar. Maybe this was the one. No. I don't know where. One of my favorite songs is If It's Snowbird Season, Why Can't You Shoot 'Em? But I'm not sure where that is. Baby Boomers. That was, and this is an autographed copy. This was from a few years ago. I've got a ton of Brent Burns CD. Look at this one. It's still in its wrapping. Sorry, Brent. Beach Fix. Okay, and I don't even have half of what he's recorded. Oh, here's the one that I flubbed. Don't Come Knocking If the Tiki Hut's Rockin'. Got some neat artwork there too. That's also autographed. And oh, this is what we got last year at Meeting of the Minds. Brent Burns, My Favorite Beach Songs. This was a commemorative edition of a lot of his favorite songs. And then the last one I have to show you is I've Got a Beach in My Backyard, which is a wonderful, wonderful song. This is terrific. Okay, so I'm going to show you also some pictures that I have of Brent. This is the very first picture that I ever took of him and with him. I happened to be in Lower Alabama back in 2000. When was the BP oil spill? 2008, 9, 10? I don't know when it was. But anyway, visiting the same friends that introduced Brent to me. And we went to this one place, and a fellow named John Reno, and I've got an article about him that I'll be getting to later on. John Reno was playing, and actually Brent was there having dinner. So I'm going to turn this around, and can you see that? Uh-oh, that's my house. Wait, where are we? Where are we? Where are we? Again, this is my first one. Ah, there we go. There we go, sort of. Uh-oh. No, I really messed up. Just a second. All right, just a minute. Again, this is the first video. Okay, here we go. Okay. There we go. Finally. Okay, and why that's like, well, that's like that. I'm just going to switch pictures. That's going to be the easiest thing. Okay. This was a picture of Brent that I think I took somewhere. I'm not sure exactly where. And then the last one is a great picture. Pop up, free up storage space. Okay. Okay, here we go. Okay. Can you see it? Can you see it? There we go. Okay. All right. Sorry for all the flubs. Again, this is number one but I've got a whole lot. I'm going to do them hopefully more than once a week, because that would take us over 90 weeks, and that's a long time. But I hope that you've enjoyed this little glimpse of Brent Burns. There's a lot more to come. Brent is a sweetheart. He was supposed to come to my area to do a house concert before all this coronavirus stopped everything. So we're hoping to have him back in the area as soon as we can, and hopefully at our house. So anyway, this was a lot longer than I thought. Thanks for bearing with me. If you enjoyed it, tell other folks about this little channel. It's just Cindy Muir. I may call it Trop Rock Tales. We'll see. We'll see. But thanks again. And when you see Brent, you can tell him I learned something about you from Cindy. Y'all have a good evening.